What's up, Lego builders? Welcome back to Coconut Brick Studios, and today marks the beginning of a new era on the channel. I've got a new Lego room. Some of you guys may be following me on Instagram and saw I packed up, left the old one, and then put a picture out of this one today. As you can see, I've got my work cut out. I've got to get this all put back together, organized. My sets are just jumbled together. I was able to keep a lot of them mostly built. However, you know how it goes when you move stuff, small bits and pieces break off. Thankfully, I was able to get the Star Destroyer moved safely. Thanks to my family. They came over and helped me move. I got to figure out what this whole setup's going to look like because I've got a lot more space and I want to be able to utilize it to the best of my ability. So I think what I'm going to do is have a desk, kind of like my editing desk here. I'm going to do like my streaming and review setup over there. And then all this over here is going to be mock building because that's kind of the main thing on my channel now. So I want to dedicate the most time and energy to that over there. I've got a bunch of new shelves and new tables coming. So as we progress through this video, you'll get to see all this getting cleaned up, new shelves being built, new tables installed. So hopefully by this Sunday when this video comes out, this room will look much better. All that being said, I'll check back in when I've got more to update you guys with. All right, I've made a decent amount of progress. I apologize if it's really loud. I've got the windows open so I can kind of air the room out, but I'm starting to get a better layout of what I want this to look like. So over here on this wall is going to be where I do like my reviews and streams. I bought some shelves and be putting them there. That's where the majority of my box wall is going to be. Right here I've got a smaller display stand. This is probably where I'm going to put the UCS Star Destroyer, then like a couple other sets on those shelves underneath. And then moving over here, this area is going to be like my new editing area. I originally had this desk over there where that shelf is. The problem with that was when I was sitting there editing or doing stuff on my laptop, I was getting glare from both these windows, no matter where I pointed the laptop. So that was really annoying. But over here, it should work perfectly, and because of these windows, I wasn't really able to put like Lego shelves, Lego sets, display stands, or anything else. So it was kind of like, almost a wasted corner, but now I've got the perfect use for it. Moving on next to the editing area, this is where I'm going to be keeping my bulk parts in these big white containers. I did also decide to do a little bit of my box wall right here. I think I might just stick my boxes randomly throughout the room as kind of like art to kind of spice it up and just to add a little bit extra detail and just add that little extra Lego Star Wars feel to the room. Now this side over here is kind of like the last area I have to tackle. I've got shelves coming in the mail, so unfortunately all this is going to be kind of scattered and messy until I can get those shelves. But I do have one of my tables in, and this is kind of going to be where the table area will be. So it's going to be 3 of these tables right there consecutively, so it's going to be quite a bit of table space. I'm really happy. In fact, I was even able to map out my next mock a little bit, so you can see this is about how wide it's going to be, and then it's going to be about 3 tables long. So a real beast of a mock. Over here where this white table is where I'm going to be putting my parts, basically like my new sorted parts. I'm not going to be using the Acro Mills containers anymore, but I'm going to have a new setup right there. I put the table up just so that I'd have a place to set stuff up and just so I could kind of do some work on it if I needed to. I'm very happy with the progress I've made so far. Stuff is starting to get figured out. For those of you who are wondering where exactly Utapau is, we've got one box right here with half of Utapau, and then the other half is over here in this bin, which is any Lego sorter's absolute worst nightmare. We've got all different kinds of parts just jammed in here. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to move it as smoothly as I would have liked, and so me and my brother had to kind of just take it apart into chunks and then put all the chunks in here. So you've got pieces of the platform, pieces of the rock wall, pieces of the terrain, all mixed into here. So once I get these tables in and built, I'm going to have many nights of sorting ahead of me getting this bucket and this box all sorted out. Time to check back in with another update. I have been busy. So I just got done live streaming where I took all of these sets on the table and checked them out, put them back together, made sure nothing was missing pieces, and I got all of these done. I got most of these sets on the floor done, and I'm really pleased to report that there were no broken pieces, which was nice. However, I do have a couple of missing pieces that I'm not sure where they go. We've got this dish right here. I have no idea where it goes. And then this weird piece right here. It looks like it clips onto something, and there aren't really any scratches or marks on the pieces, so they look fairly new. So that's really confusing because I don't have very many new sets, and I checked them and they aren't missing that piece. So I don't really know where that goes. I'll just have to hang on to it and see. Moving on to over here, I've got my UCS Star Destroyer all set up and displayed nicely on this black shelf. These sets underneath are not going to be there permanently. Once I get more shelving put up and figure out like which sets are going where, I'll probably take some of these out and swap some out. However, this will be the display space for the UCS Star Destroyer. There just aren't too many areas which I can display it. And I think it looks pretty nicely framed on either side by these doors. So I'm really happy with how that looks, and I'm glad that I was able to find a spot for it to go. These two white rows of containers fit in this alcove perfectly, which makes me really happy because I was kind of afraid of how to best utilize this space because it was kind of small, but this was also one of the biggest wall chunks I have without like a door or a window in it or something. So I'm happy that these were able to fit right here perfectly, and I can keep going up if I want to buy more shelves. I can just stack them on top. Moving on to these two boxes right here. I got these from Amazon, and they are Acro Mills sorting bins. So they're by the same brand that make these sorting bin things. I decided to go with these bigger bins without a top for a very specific reason, and I'll be explaining more why I went with a new sorting system and how it's going to look in more detail once I get that all set up. But I got 12 red ones and 12 blue ones, and I'm going to be putting them over here on these IKEA Ivar shelves. If any of you guys watch Solid Brick Studios, you'll be familiar with these shelves. I absolutely love them. They're very customizable to fit your specific needs. All I had to do was buy the actual shelves and these side pieces and then kind of put them together however I wanted. So you can see right here, I'm actually going to be putting 3 rows of bins on each shelf, and then I'll be swapping the colors red, blue to kind of create a nice little aesthetic right there. And I'm going to have one of these shelves right here, and then I'm actually going to have 3 right here along this middle wall. So this will be where the main sorting is. But the nice thing about these shelves is I can pack a lot of these little smaller shelves on top. So I should be able to fit tons of these Acro Mills bins, which means I'll have lots of options for sorting my Lego parts. What I'm going to be doing next is putting the mock tables right here in the center of the room. They are super big, so I don't really have the ability to kind of like show you where they're going to go right now. I'm basically going to have to set them up and then show you. So I'm going to take this table and all these Legos and move them over here to this corner where they'll be out of the way. Then I can get those tables all set up. And when I have more to update with you guys, I'll check back in. All right, I am checking in with one last update for the week. I got my 3 tables set up here in the center of the room for mocks. You can see they're very cluttered right now. I'm in the process of taking apart Utapau, but I'm very happy with all the space I have now. A lot of you guys may not be familiar with this color of table, the light blue. This is actually a brand new product from IKEA, and a lot of people will get the classic mahogany table, kind of like that wood one with like the white outline. And I was thinking about getting that one. However, it's way cheaper to buy the light blue one. I think they use cheaper material. Like, it's not like the quality wise, but I mean like, you know, cheaper to produce. These tabletops are $27.99, whereas these ones were like $59.99. So much better deal. I also really liked the color because I didn't want to get a black table because I felt like, you know, that would eat too much light and it would cause me to have to like raise the brightness of my camera and then have to put in a lot of light to be able to properly light it. And I didn't want to use white because I've used white in the past, and if they, you know, too much light shines on them, they start to glow and it's hard to see what's on the table. So I felt like this light blue was a very neutral color and I wouldn't have to use a lot of light or hide a lot of light to be able to film stuff on it. So as of right now, pretty much everything is set up in the new Lego room except for my sorting section where I'm going to have all my loose parts, and then over here where I'm going to have kind of like my set display as well as my box wall. This will be like my review / streaming area. I was supposed to get all of the shelves for this section and that section today. However, IKEA texted me this morning, said there's a problem with the delivery, so I'm going to have to call customer service and get that all figured out, which is annoying, but I'm hoping by the time the actual room tour comes out next Sunday, all of that should be in place so you guys will get a nice, beautiful finished product. I've also made a lot of good progress with Utapau. You can see a lot of it's been taken apart. In fact, I've got that giant blue bin right over there. You can see it is completely empty. So me and Mrs. Coconut did some sorting yesterday, got all the pieces out. There are a bunch right there on the table, and then there's a chunk right there and a chunk under the table. So I'm very happy with the progress I'm making there. I should get it packed up pretty soon. The reason I want to get it done so soon is because I'm not going to be starting any new projects until Utapau is put away, just so that, you know, I'm not overextending myself and starting too many new projects without making sure previous ones have been, you know, squared away and put away. I have also started to fill up these bins. This is very temporary. This is basically me just trying to get Utapau out of that bucket and onto the shelves. Once I get more shelves, I'm going to go through all of my parts again and all of these smaller bins and then transfer everything to a new sorting system that's going to be right there. and over here. So I'm going to have to redo a lot of the parts, which is kind of a pain, but I do enjoy sorting, so it shouldn't be too bad. Well, that wraps up this episode of building the ultimate Lego room. I am really happy with the progress I was able to make in 1 week. If you guys remember at the beginning of the week, there was no furniture in here except for the desk and the black shelf, and there were just parts everywhere all over the floor. So it's nice to see some semblance of organization and kind of a little bit of my vision coming to fruition. Stay tuned for part 2 of this mini series coming out next week, and then next Sunday will be the finale where I show you guys the finished Lego room. All that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to let me know what you thought about this down below in the comments. If you have any questions or concerns, leave them down there. And as always, if you liked the video, don't forget to leave me a big thumbs up, and until next time, happy building.